I'm Dave Mansbart, president of the ARA of New York. I hope you all watch the session one again and have your questions ready. David McBee, a frequent ARA speaker and consultant to dozens of ARA members. He's been sharing his internet marketing knowledge with local businesses since 2003. David helps thousands of business owners around the country understand how to use the internet and grow their company. Supporting David today is Josh Eliseuson, the founder of Jubilant Digital Marketing, which is a certified Google Premier partner. Josh has over 20 years experience managing internet campaigns for small and medium-sized businesses across North America, including the ARA and dozens of his members going back to 2009. Now, David and Josh set a pretty high bar in session one, and I'm sure they're going to exceed that today. This webinar will be recorded, so you can view it again and share with others in your company. At the end of this session, we're going to take a vote to see if you'd like a third session. So please sit back and enjoy. Here's David McBee and Josh Eliseuson. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. That's a lot of pressure. We're going to vote at the end to see if you were any good. But I'm glad you guys are back. This is session two. I'm not going to take a lot of time to do introductions. That was in session one, and you can go back and watch the recording. We obviously ran short on time last month, and we want to try and shoot for 45 minutes. That's about as long as most people can stand to be on a Zoom. So I'm going to jump right into sharing my screen so that we can get to work. All right. Everybody can see this agenda? Yep. All right. So in session one, we covered website basics, navigation, quality of the website, speed of the website. We talked about SEO, aka search engine optimization, strategies for getting your website to rank well on Google. And we talked about search engine marketing, which a lot of people refer to as paid search or pay-per-click, also known as Google AdWords in most circles. And so if you missed session one, Dave can get you the link to that. It's available as a private link on YouTube just for your organization. We have 4 more topics to cover plus open Q&A. I'm hoping we can cover at least 3 of these today, specifically Google business profiles, the value and importance of online reviews, social media, which, by the way, could be a 45-minute conversation in and of itself, and targeted advertising, which you guys may know as the ads that kind of know what you want. If you get a new cat and you all of a sudden start seeing ads for cat food and cat litter, that's what targeted advertising is. And we can actually place, we can help you get your ads in front of people who are looking to rent, people who are looking at, planning a wedding or a reception or working on a project. So those are the topics we're going to try and get to today. If we don't get to all of them, then maybe that'll go towards part 3. But here we go. Let's just jump right into it. Oh, actually, before we jump right into it, let me just reiterate that we want you guys to participate as much as you'd like today. Feel free to turn your camera on, turn your microphone on, use the raise my hand feature that Zoom has available. We'll stop what we're talking about. We'll answer your question, and we'll take care of you right there in that moment. All right, so the first topic is Google Business Profile. And you guys might know this as Google Maps or Google My Business. It's changed names 150 times over the years. But basically, it is your profile on Google. And so this is actually one of the most important things for you to claim, improve, optimize, keep up to date. Because if you want to rank well on Google, if you want people to be able to find you on Google, Google will reward you for enhancing their property, and it's technically their property. It's a page with your name, your business, your information. And in fact, I'm going to put the PowerPoint aside and I'm going to go live for a minute and pull up one so that you guys can see it. All right. I'm always a little nervous to go live, but that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to pull this over here. We're going to go to Google. Dave, let's use yours. Remind me the name of your business. Sorry, you're muted.
Able Equipment Rental.
Is this you, Deer Park?
Yep, Deer Park, correct.
All right. So as you can see, Dave's ranking for his own name, which hopefully y'all are, right? This over here is the Google My Business, Google My Profile. So when we click on this, it takes us to this page right here where we have photographs, great photos, Dave. Really, really good there. These are the photographs that you've uploaded, videos. Looks like you got a little video here. That's fantastic. Good work.
That's me up in the platform.
You've got the address, hours, URL, phone number. I guess this is the technically part of the GPS location. And you have the ability to suggest and edit. You don't have a lot. It looks like you're responsible for most of the photos here on your page, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's the ones we put up there. Yes.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
And so my very first thing as I look at this, you got 30 reviews, couple of negative ones, which we'll talk about those here in the next section, which is online reviews. But my first thought here is you could use more photographs that are generated by the public. You know, that's a hard thing to get. You could use more variety of photographs. It looks like you've got a lot of photographs of your equipment. That's well, yeah. Oh, this is pretty good. Do you have smaller equipment that you rent, Dave, as well?
Not a whole heck of a lot of it. We're not. It's all kind of big iron type stuff.
All right. So this is a good view of what you're doing. And then we need more reviews, and we need more positive reviews, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. Josh, why don't you unmute and speak to the importance of this, and you can drive me around the internet and
yeah. So I kind of view Google Business Profile as the digital equivalent of your storefront. So like, it's worth the time. You'll take the time to turn your open sign on and turn it off. It's Google will reward you. So there's basically three major ranking factors with Google Business Profiles. And so one of them is reviews. And so we'll talk about, like David said, we'll talk about that in a second. One of them is something you can't control, really. It's your physical location as compared to other businesses. So if somebody has a rental store right next to them, that's going to appear number one for them, versus if you're 10 miles down the road, you're not. So obviously we can't control that, but the one that we can control is basically, like David said in the beginning, is using all the features that the Google Business Profile has. And so that Google, and those features can be posting regularly. So you could actually post to this. So let me see, does Able have any posts on there?
No, they don't. But would you like to use one of your clients as an example?
Yeah, let's try Rhodes Family Dental. Try Rhodes Family Dental. So we have these product cards here on this one too. So it's kind of something to talk about, these product cards. So this is actually harder for a service-oriented business, but we did it for Rhodes Services. We basically productized their services. But for you guys, you could have lifts, skid steers, bobcats. You could have a whole list of your different products there, and so that gives Google more. It has more. It makes your profile bigger. Just simply bigger. You have more graphics, you have more content. But Google is like, okay, they're actually using all the features. So listing out your products and creating product cards for all of them is something good to do. And then from responding to reviews and things like that, I think they've always been pretty good about responding.
This is the Q&A section.
This is the Q&A section. So adding a Q&A session and open it up. But the bad thing about a Q&A section is you have to be on point to answer these questions as they come in. You will get alerts from your Google Business Profile. So whatever your username is, make sure your username is an email you get. But it's a great place to have, and if you use it, you will rank better, essentially. So you want to have a Q&A section there, and it can be quite cumbersome to respond to all of them if you're getting a lot of questions, but you're going to rank better. So if you have somebody answering the phone, it's worth answering the questions on your Google Business Profile too. You can also turn on a button. I don't think Rhodes has it. But you also can turn a button that allows them to text you. So if you turn all those features on, you will benefit. And then David was showing some of the posts too. So if you want to scroll down, this is something that a lot of people don't do. You can have posts. You can post as many times as you want. We recommend twice a month. And you can have posts about different equipment, best how to use an aerator, or 10 things to know about an aerial lift. And creating those posts, and then a lot of times those posts live on your website too. But if you write them for your website, you want to put them on your Google Business profile.
So you
Does
want
someone
to
have a
duplicate
question?
whatever's on the website on your post, because we put the posts on our website already.
Yeah.
So we should also put them there on the profile.
Yep. Yeah. So, some of you may be posting on your website. Some of you may not be. That's kind of the first step, is just generally speaking. We talked about that in the first session, is ongoing blog posting. You call it blogs, call it new page creation, call it content. You want to have ongoing content creation for your website. Well, if you're bothering to create that content, if you're writing 500 words about aerial lifts on your website, you need to put that on social media, and you need to put it on Google Business profiles. So it's actually probably more important for your industry than social media. So if you're writing that content, put it up in your Google Business profile as a post. You may have to edit the post, because I think it's only 200 words is the limit for Google Business profile. So if you're writing a 500 word post, you may have to edit it down to make it a Google Business profile post. But actively, basically treat Google Business profile as a social media platform. This is or a website. This is a web property that needs to be maintained weekly. Let's just call it weekly. Log into your Google Business profile. Make sure you're responding to reviews rapidly. If you can respond to them within 24 hours, that's ideal. But posting, you can add deals and things like that. You can answer questions about products and things like that too. So Google's going to reward. That's really the only thing you can control. Like when you're saying, "Hey, why don't I rank on Google Maps?" Well, you can't control your physical location. You can, in some ways, you can't control your reviews. You can obviously encourage reviews, and we'll go through that too to get more. But what else can you do? Well, it's really using the tools that Google's given you, and a lot of people don't. Like, I think there was a stat that only like 20% of all Google Business profiles are actually being utilized fully. And so it's not a shock that yours isn't being utilized, but there's a plenty of opportunity there. So good photography, like we already talked about. Dave has great photography for his business. We run into a lot of businesses that don't. It's kind of like cumbersome photos, not good lighting, and it's a photo of just not a good angle and things like that. Good photography. Make sure you're selecting all the business categories that you have, and those business categories have changed a lot. So I would say the business categories alone changed twice this year. So there's more of them. So you can, make sure you have all the products that Google has listed as a category you can have are representative for your business.
How would you deal with branches if you have more than one location? Because we've got 6 other branches.
Yeah.
Would each
So
branch have their own Google profile at
Yep,
their
each
address?
each branch should have its own Google profile,
Okay.
and should have verified listing. So great question. And so it can be difficult. So when I'm sure you have a manager of that branch.
Mhm.
I think part of it, I honestly think, and this is kind of what we do internally for ourselves, is that should be part of that branch manager's duties, just like it is turning the lights on, taking the cash out of the cash register. One of their job duties should be to make sure their Google Business profile is up to date, because there's fundamentals there. We have Martin Luther King Day coming up on Monday. Are you open there? If you're open, go in and say you're open, because Google's going to say, if you don't say that, Google's going to say hours may be influenced by Martin Luther King Day. So unless you go in and answer the question that Google has posed, what are your Martin Luther King Day hours? It's going to kind of give this wishy-washy answer, and that wishy-washy answer is affecting your ranking, because Google's basically going to tell the world, we don't know if this business is open on Martin Luther King Day or not. You need to say definitively you're open. That will that'll just show Google that you're actively using your profile, and it's good customer experience. So for most rental businesses, Google Business profile has more activity. You probably all get the reports. You have more activity on your Google Business profile now than you do your website. So your website, if you're going to invest time in your website, you need to invest time in your Google Business Profile. So you all can get the reports, and they'll download and say, hey, 500 people viewed your Google Business Profile. 200 of them requested directions to your business. 50 of them called, or whatever those numbers are. Those are real numbers, and those are real people interacting with your business there. So it's really important that you need to, and that you make that. It'll help your rankings, and it's just fundamentally, it's just I kind of consider it kind of blocking and tackling for a business. It's just stuff you have to do now. So yeah,
I want to jump in and just say, this. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. This strategy isn't complicated. This is, we just basically said, go to Google Maps, update your profile, right? But it is such a golden nugget. No one does this right. Okay. Practically no one. Rhodes did a great job. I think Josh probably helped them with that. But at the end of the day, most people are neglecting this part of their online presence. And it is so simple. Make sure those hours are updated, the reviews, the photos, all the features that they have available, utilize them. And all the things we said last week about SEO and search engine optimization, they should really take backseat to what we're talking about right now, honestly, for rentals specifically, because 86% of people are using their smartphones to find you right now. And as you can see, that's the thing that comes up at the very, very top, are the Google Maps results. So as simple as this is, guys, please find some time, dedicate your resources to making sure that your Google My Business, or whatever they're calling it now, Google Business Profile, is current, up to date, and that you are really, really massaging it and taking care of it. It should be something on your weekly to-do list. All right, why don't we open it up for questions about Google Business Profile? Anybody have any questions or thoughts about that? Let's see, there's 2 chats. Oh, okay, that's all. All right, any questions about this?
Well, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Looks like Mr. Goodman has a question. One sec. Oh, waiting in anticipation. Oh, he's connecting his mic.
Why we wait for that? There's a couple tools out there that, so we kind of talking about Google Business Profile, which is the big one, but there's all these other Apple Maps, Bing Maps, Yahoo Maps, Foursquare still around. There's tools out there, and one of the tools is called Yext, Y-E-X-T. And I encourage every business to buy it. We buy it on behalf of customers. We get a little bit of discount, so you get the same price as you would if you bought it directly. But Yext is a software that syndicates out your Google, whatever you put in your Google Business Profile, to all those other places. So you know what? You put pictures on your Google Business Profile. You want pictures on Apple Maps too, the same pictures on Apple Maps. Yext will syndicate that out. So it's a good tool if you want to use it. I highly recommend it. I think every business, my wife owns a preschool. She does it for her preschool. And so recommend any business that has a brick and mortar location, buy Yext, because it basically, everything you do, it basically clones your Google Business Profile and puts it out everywhere else.
And I go like Big Maps and stuff like that.
Yep.
Anywhere else. Okay.
Yeah. And fundamentally, it makes sure your phone number, that's like fundamental things. I want to make sure my phone number is right. I want to make sure address is right everywhere. And so if you ever run into problems, that's oftentimes we use Yext to fix problems. Like, it's like, man, my address is just not, we moved a year ago and our address isn't right on Yahoo Maps. How do I fix it? Well, we just buy Yext, and Yext will kind of like instantly fix it. So it's a good tool to kind of
giving away all your secrets, Josh.
No, it's like I said, if you want us to set it up, it'll be the same price as you bought it direct. Like I said, we get full transparency. We get a little bit of a discount because we buy so many, and so that just covers our time to do it. So, all
right, Dov, you got your
something about thank you for the opportunity. Something about Yext. I did it one time, like 5 or 6 years ago. You pay like $500 and you appear on everywhere. I didn't do it since. I think they also increased the prices and everything. and it's like white pages or yellow pages. Nobody looks at this stuff, but your information appears correct. So that's a very important thing, but it's an extra buck anyway. I have a question about my profile on Google, let's say. Okay, so I mean, if you wanna look at it, I have a contractor that does it all, and it's amazing. It is. I mean, he's doing an amazing business. You can check it out.
What's your business name?
Rent a Tool Brooklyn.
So he has posts, so that's great.
He has like, I mean, the ranking that I see, like I go with him every month. It's like crazy. That's what he's showing me. Like
We got a lot of things going right here. 87 reviews. Looks like you've got some photos, quite a few photos. And again, this all helps you rank. So even though your name is Rent a Tool, I'm guessing if I just did tool rental in Brooklyn, you're probably going to rank real high. Maybe not as high as I'd hoped.
yeah. So basically, what he says that mainly like he uses a lot of blog. He does a lot of blog, and not yet doing what's it called? He's not yet. I mean, basically, he is using the blog power for it. Let's say like a scissor lift in New York City or something like that. And that's why we get a lot, even though like many other big companies do not appear in the first you see. So the locations is gonna be first, like the people that or pay or have more reviews or whatever it is, but like the second or third one, it's right there, rentatoolny.com.
I mean, this isn't bad, but Josh, I mean, your thoughts on ranking technically 6th on this page?
Yeah. So what I hear good things. I hear you're talking about content. So, I mentioned that Google Business Profiles can sometimes be more important than your website. Well, so what you're doing from a digital marketing standpoint, you're either buying ads, and so that gets you instantly on Google Maps. It gets you instantly on the top of Google results. Or you're trying to get your web properties, your website, your social media profile, your Google Business Profile, and then secondarily Apple Maps and things like that. You're trying to get those web properties to rank on their own merit. You don't want to have to buy ads forever, and obviously, not everybody clicks on an ad, so you want to get those users. And so, kind of the cornerstone of digital marketing and what ranks is content. And so, you mentioned that this company's writing content, writing blog posts, and they're posting that content on their Google Business Profile. I'm guessing they're posting that content on social media.
Not only on the profile, also inside the. It's like they do on safety, on scissor lift. The difference between scissor lift and a boom lift, forklift, reach forklift. They explaining a lot of. Yeah. So basically all those.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that what we're seeing right here is all of these articles, if they were to exist, this is what we're talking about. If they were to exist on your Google Business Profile right here,
looks like they put some.
Better.
If you scroll down, it looks like they might have put some on there. So they
some,
look that
not
one. Oh, okay, that's his products. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's the post. Yeah. So it looks like they are posting some of that content too, which is great. That's exactly what I'm saying. Do that.
So why doesn't it appear in location?
Yeah, there's still some work that could be done here because you're not ranking for Scissor Lift Brooklyn in the map section, and you're 3rd here. So, but we should probably take that offline because that's very specific to you and your business. But
no, I'm just saying I just gave you a Scissor Lift Brooklyn. It's not like
why isn't it ranking there?
I mean, a scissor lift in New York City, or more specific words that I told him to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about getting a free web analysis, a one-on-one with Josh. This is exactly the kind of stuff
Yeah.
that you guys can utilize Josh for. Let's go back
Okay.
to the group
No, I'm not.
conversation.
I just wanted to know what is about
I think everyone has
needs to
that
be.
question about their business, right? The techniques we're talking about are global, but everyone has something usually very specific to their business that they really need a little more hands-on with. So let's shift topics if we could, and talk about online reviews. You guys know these are important, right? Obviously, you guys are trying to get more. You want to have 5 stars. But as Josh said, they are one of the 3 things that Google looks at on your profile that make you rank better, right? First one we just talked about, taking opportunity with all those bells and whistles. The second one is your actual location. So like if I'm in Olathe, Kansas, which is outside of Kansas City, and somebody on the other side of Kansas City is looking for my rental store, I'm going to struggle to rank for them just because I'm far away from them, right? But the third thing I can do is get lots and lots of positive reviews. And again, this is so simple, guys. There's an easy way to do this. You ask every customer for a review. Right then, when you're checking them out, when you're checking the equipment back in, ask them to pull you up on their phone and just write you a review right then and there. I've heard businesses say, if you can write a review right here in front of me, I'll put your name in a drawing for a $25 Amazon gift card. I'll give you 10% off of your next rental. Google kind of frowns upon rewarding people for an online review. But the reality is a lot of businesses are doing it. As long as you don't do it on the internet where Google can see that you're offering something for a review, you're not going to get in trouble for that. But you've got to incentivize your clients, and you've got to ask them. And you have your happy customers. They're like, oh, I just love renting from you guys. You got to take that moment. You got to take that opportunity and say, we're so grateful that you do business with us. Could we ask a small favor? Can you just hop on Google real quick, write 3 sentences and give us 5 stars? It would mean the world to us, right? Josh,
And
you
if
want to say
it's,
something?
and I was just going to say, if it's your staff member asking for the review and not you, it's kind of a nice angle that works. Is they can say, "Hey, my boss will reward me." The car industry is great at this. The sales rep that's doing it. Hey, can you leave me a review? And just like my boss will reward me if I get a review, or I'll get an extra bonus this month if I get the most reviews out of all the sales reps and things like that. And so, it can be aggressive. It can be, we've all experienced it, but it works. Is to have your staff ask for those reviews, and they kind of, the angle that works seems to be kind of like that employee guilt, like, hey, my boss wants me to make sure I'm doing a good job. So if you wouldn't mind leaving me a review, I sure appreciate it. So you just got to ask.
Yeah, that's an enormous thing to put on your employees. But if you are willing to reward them if their name gets posted in a review, I mean, I go to the post office to mail books quite a bit, and they're always saying, "Hey, if you mention my name in this review, it'll be something nice for me." And I feel like I want to write a review more for a person than a business, right? Isn't that kind of the angle, Josh?
Yeah. And so sometimes the reviews mention the people. The actual, John helped me. He was great. Blah 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 blah. Others they just happen to do it. So
right. So that's our best advice for getting reviews. Obviously, you can put a link to Google Maps reviews directly into your email correspondences with clients. If you send them a receipt or whatever. If you print out an actual receipt or invoice of some kind, give us 5 stars on Google. I mean, those things go a long way. But like I said, incentivizing the person to write the review by rewarding them with a discount or a drawing, or as Josh said, having them review the actual person as opposed to your business, you're going to have a lot more luck. The second thing we need to talk about on reviews is what to do when you get a bad one. And this is actually true for good ones as well. But don't freak out. That's the most important thing. Do not respond to a negative review for at least 24 hours until you've had time to calm down. Like, the worst possible thing that you can do is respond to a negative review in a confrontational manner. Okay. Even if you're right, even if that person rented your equipment, destroyed it, didn't pay you back, and they're writing you a negative review, you cannot confront them in that space. Okay. Because all you will be doing is telling future users, future prospects, future customers who are reviewing your reviews, all you're telling them is that you are a confrontational business. Okay. I cannot stress this enough. The very best thing that you can do when you get a negative review is fall on the sword. Remember, you are not responding to the reviewer. This is the most important lesson I could tell you. You are responding to future readers. So think about how you want to appear to that future reader. Say things like, we're sorry we let you down. Call me directly and let's work this out. That's a great generic response. Sorry we didn't live up to our usual expectations that we put on ourselves. We'd love to continue doing business with you. Please come in and chat with me personally. Even if you don't, even if you don't mean that to the person who wrote the review, because you know that person did you wrong. Remember, you are not responding to that actual person. You're responding to future readers. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. Now, responding to reviews in general is important. Even if it's Dave did a great job renting us this equipment. We love working with you guys. Just say, hey, thank you. We love working with you too. We'll give Dave a pat on the back. Something like that. And again, it's minutia. It's something that you have to do. But if you got to get those reviews, you got to respond to them. The more content that is there and the more of a positive feel that it has to it. And Google can tell if something is positive or negative. The AI is ridiculous these days. They know when there's negativity and they're not going to reward you for that. Okay. So put a positive spin on all those negative reviews. And by the way, a negative review isn't the end of the world because it makes your review site even more authentic. If you have 50 5-star reviews, first thing I'm thinking is fake, fake, fake. Right? Nobody can make somebody happy 50 out of 50 times, right? So I'm thinking that's fake. Yes, you want as many positive reviews as you can get, but a negative one in there just makes you that much more authentic, okay? So you just say, I'm sorry we let you down. We didn't live up to our own expectations. We want to make this right. Josh, anything else to add on online reviews?
Covered it. Thank you.
All right, any questions about online reviews, guys?
I have a question.
Yes.
So if you haven't gone back and revisited any of your reviews, would you suggest going back to all your reviews and making a comment, or just starting fresh?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. All right. So I would say that if you have a negative review and it's buried, like you have to go looking for it,
right?
Definitely do not respond to that. Okay. Because you're just going to give it more clout. You're going to give it more impact, right? Let that go. If it's a year older or older, whatever. That's even true for positive reviews. But those most recent reviews, anything that's less than 90 days, or anything that is at the top, even if it's a negative review that's 3 years old, if it's at the top of your reviews, go ahead and respond to it. And again, you're not really responding to the person who gave you a negative review 3 years ago. You're writing to future readers. So if it's buried and it's negative, leave it alone. If it's old and it's positive, leave it alone. Going forward, try to respond to everything.
Okay.
Josh, do you agree with that?
Yep, 100%. I think, and it depends on how many reviews you get from a timing standpoint. I would say it's like, what's on that first page? When somebody opens up your Google Business Profile, each of those reviews should be responded to. So if, I don't know how many reviews you get, but if those are about 2, 3, 4 weeks old, then I would respond to them. So
yeah, we currently have 90.
Cool. Wow, that's great.
That's fantastic. That's great.
And we're 4.6. So it's I think it rounds out nicely, looks authentic.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's a good point, right? Like if you were to go buy a camera on Amazon and it got a 4.6 out of 5 stars, that wouldn't prevent you from buying the camera, right? something specific that someone says maybe, but at the end of the day, we all know that there's going to be negative reviews out there for even the best businesses. So don't freak out when you get a negative review. Respond positively and speak to the future reviewer.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is social media. Now, there are two kinds of social media. There is organic social media, or what you guys know as all the free stuff. And then there's paid social media. I'm going to take those in two separate categories. It's 12:09. Technically, we're supposed to be done in 5 minutes, but I want to at least get through social media, if that's okay with you guys. If you have to get off, go ahead. But let's start with organic social media. The first thing is, we don't recommend that you outsource this. If you've got a guy, if someone's handling your internet presence, the very best thing you can do for your own organic social media is to do it yourself, because absolutely no one knows the ins and outs and the personality of your business like you do. Okay. You should be the one posting. Your people should be the one posting. You should have someone on staff who's taking video and taking photographs of your equipment at work, at the wedding, or whatever it might be. Try to do all of that yourself. Okay. And if it's a little unprofessional looking, all the better. Okay. That's actually the whole goal of social media, is it's supposed to look authentic and organic and done by you. So you don't want it too polished. Obviously, you don't want some crappy, shaky video and really, really bad lighting on a photograph. But at the end of the day, don't worry about making it too polished. The second thing about organic social media is it should be educational. I misspelled educational. I've used this deck 100 times and I just noticed that. Sorry, I had to call myself out. Or entertaining. That's entertaining, actually. So
It makes you more authentic.
sorry, I'm just going to fix that right now.
I don't think it's been like that in every presentation, David. So.
No, it has. But that's all right. Listen, if your posts are all about what you're selling, if it's all about your products and services, people are not going to want to follow you. It's as simple as that. You need to tell them something that interests them, teaches them, or makes them laugh. Okay. And entertaining is one of the hardest things to accomplish, but it is the very best thing you can do, right? We've got a rental client in Mississippi, and he has like a big costume, like a mascot costume, like the football teams have, and he does all sorts of events with his little mascot guy, right? And they're just cute and adorable, and you see him hugging the little kids, and it's entertaining. It's fun to watch. It's a good reason to follow their business on social media. And then when you think, oh, I need to rent something, you're like, oh, I know that. Remember that busy lad guy? That's so cute. Like let's reach out to that guy. So try to make your posts either entertaining or educational, at least probably 80% of the time. Okay, 20% of the time, say 1 in 5 posts can be, hey, we got this new piece of equipment in. We're currently offering a 20% discount to rent it, whatever that might be. Okay. But kind of do a 1-to-4 ratio of educational and entertaining posts to informational posts. Invite engagement. Okay. Basically, ask questions that inspire people to write comments. Entertaining posts will inspire more comments. And the more comments that you get, the more likes, the more shares, the more engagement that you get on your post, obviously, the higher you're going to rank. And the easier you're going to be easier to be found in those social media feeds. So ask a question like, maybe, what are you going to rent this equipment for? Or if you could rent this piece of equipment for a day, what would you build? Or, where did you have your wedding? And, what's your favorite outdoor location for a wedding? Whatever that might be, right? If you're promoting weddings, obviously. Graduations are coming up. Like, who has a kid graduating this year, and how are you feeling about them going off to college? Well, little things like that could be your educational and engaging posts. Minimize sales pitches. I kind of already said this. 1 out of 5 posts should be like a salesy pitch. you don't want to bombard, and I chose Times Square obviously as an example. If you don't want to bombard your clients with just, we have this piece of equipment, we have this piece of equipment, we have this piece of equipment, we have this sale, we have this sale, we have this blah blah. Just don't do that, or people will just stop following you. They'll stop engaging with you, and Facebook and the other social media platforms will stop showing your content to these people. All right, before I go into paid social media, let me open it up to Josh to see what else you'd like to add to that, Josh.
I think a lot of the, again, kind of going back to what our discussion, it's all centers around content, and kind of the best source of content is yourself. Obviously it's time consuming, and sometimes people don't like to write social media. Sometimes, I personally don't like to write just for social media. We have staff that do it. So it's kind of, you can always outsource it, but the best person is yourself. And I think there's a scale of, I think your involvement, you will always have to be involved. If you outsource it, there's no turnkey method. It's going to be, you're going to have to meet with your social media person once a week, once a month, and make sure they're representing your voice. So no matter what, you have to personally be involved, really as the business owner, most likely, or a trusted person that's been with you for a long time that really represents the culture of your business.
All right, any questions about organic or free social media before we go to paid social media?
I just have one comment. We have 2 vendors that auto-populate our Facebook page for us with the products that we carry from their line, which is kind of nice because I don't have to worry about putting products up all the time, and I concentrate more than on the more fun items and things like that. And it's kind of a nice feature from some of your vendors that do that for you, as long as they don't, flood it with too much.
Right.
So
are you feel like you're getting that 1 to 4, 1 to 5 ratio?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
All right. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk paid social media. Just like Google, we talk about ranking for free or paying to be on the first page. Paid social media is the same thing, right? If you have good content, maybe you've tested it in the waters and it's gotten a lot of likes, it's got a lot of comments, a lot of engagement, you can now turn that into a paid piece that you can boost its reach and get more people to view that content. Obviously, you have to pay for this, but if it's really great content and it's getting your brand out there, it's getting your message out there, it's getting your products and services out there, usually the return on investment is there. So a couple things on paid social media. Boost your best posts. Don't just create an organic post and immediately boost it. Test the waters to see if it does a good job organically first, right? Go back and look at some of the best posts that you did over the course of 2022 and either recreate and boost them or boost the old ones if you want to, right? Throw $5 or $10 at a post and all of a sudden the reach of it increases tenfold. You're getting in front of so many more people. And if you are boosting the best posts, then you know that you're sending out quality content. Facebook and Instagram and a lot of these other businesses, they have their own kind of targeting. I've chosen a little duck on a target here, right? Josh, I'll let you speak to the targeting just a little bit because I know you understand it a little bit better.
Yeah, so Facebook targeting has gotten more restrictive over the last couple of years because of all the news and things like that about personalization of search. And so it's interesting is, there was, the peak of targeting was really a couple of years ago. And so now it's more general, but you can still target some very specific audiences that are great for rental, especially on the event side. So the event side, you can target engaged women, you can target by income, you can target like how close their wedding date is and things like that. So there's a lot of audiences on the event side that make a lot of sense to kind of make sure you're reaching the right people. But then on the equipment side, you can also target by, again, household income. Do they own a house? Obviously if they own an apartment, they maybe aren't, interested in renting equipment, and just try to kind of narrow that audience down to as specific as possible. Kind of a little bit more sophisticated way of targeting is you use your own, what they call first party data. If you hear that term thrown around in marketing circles, first, your data is you want to put the Facebook pixel on your site and essentially follow people that visit your site around on social media. So if they come to your site regularly, so they're current customers, you want to make sure your current customers are seeing your content. Make sure your Facebook pixels on your site, and you build audiences and boosted audiences around that. You also can build what they call lookalike audiences around people that visit your site. So who is very similar in terms of online behavior and demographics to the people that or visit my site regularly. And so that's kind of your next best audience, is build a lookalike audience to make sure everybody that's similar to people that visit your site. So probably from a geography standpoint, they're similar, and from an income and from what they do for a living, they're similar. See your content as well. So that's kind of your best audiences, or kind of your site retargeting, your lookalikes, and then you kind of get more creative. Like, let's target people that are DIYers that own a home that have high income, and things like that. So.
Thank you, Josh. And then the last thing about social media, paid social media, one of the nice things is that you have the ability to track and measure the return on investment. All right. So you can click visits or track visits from social media to your website. You can create special pages on your website that you drive traffic from social media to, that you can then turn around and track return on ad spend or return on investment. The ability to track a paid social media campaign is one of its hottest features, really, because if you throw $1,000 at something and you get the right amount of traffic going to the right pages of your website, people are completing forms, request forms, or interest forms, or whatever. Now you can actually do some calculations, say, okay, well, our average rental is $300, and we got 12 rentals from this $1,000 campaign. Well, 12 times 300, you realize you got a $300 or $400 return on your ad spend, 300 or 400% return on your ad spend. So we love that about paid social media, is the ability to track it and prove its value. And even if it's not working 100% in the very, very beginning, there are so many things that you can do to optimize it. As Josh mentioned, you can change your audiences, you can change your creative, you can change time of day. There are a million different ways to pull a lever or dial a knob to tweak the campaign to improve it over the course of its time on the internet. All right. Now with that, we're over on time. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to skip this section of targeted advertising. I want to remind you guys that Josh has been kind enough to offer a one-on-one review of your web presence. Anyone who's on this call now or watching a recording of it in the near future, I wouldn't say in perpetuity, like 6 years from now, Josh is going to agree to that. But this is Josh's information. Is this right, Josh? I know I had it wrong in the first one.
Yep, right. That's correct. Thank you. Yeah, so just shoot me an email, we'll schedule a time. Just kind of talk for an hour about your business and digital marketing goals and things like that. And we'll kind of give you some free advice, free tool. I'm always willing to talk free tools, and just go through some questions you have or anything like that. Basically this presentation, but just one-on-one.
Here's what I want to tell you guys about Josh. He and I have been working with ARA members for over a decade now. And obviously his hope is that some of you, one of you or two of you, will become a Jubilant customer, right? But he probably talks to 10 businesses and helps them for free, and just giving away his time and information for every one who says, I don't want to do it myself. Let's hire you, Josh, right? So this is no obligation, and you're not going to get a big sales pitch out of Josh. He's one of the most generous people I've ever met.
I'm not a salesperson. I'm a paid search SEO guy. So if you want to talk to a paid search SEO guy, we'll just talk. So
very true. All right. So Dave, we didn't talk about targeted advertising specifically. We talked a little bit about targeting in social media, but I want to talk about targeting on mobile devices and connected TVs and just all across the web, if that's a topic you guys still want to talk about. And we really didn't open it up for Q&A. I'd love to do more of what we did with, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Dove. Dove. I think if we did a third session, we could just pull up a Google page, and people who participate could say, hey, would you look at my Facebook? Would you look at my blog? Would you look at my website? Would you look at my Google presence for this keyword? And I think even though they would be specific to that individual's business, the other attendees of the call would learn a few things that
Mhm.
they could implement for their own businesses as well. So if you'd like to do a third session, that's what I would imagine it looking like. We talk about targeted advertising and then shift into like an organic free for all of anyone who wanted to have us
That-
take a look at their stuff.
That sounds good for me. Giovanni had to leave. I vote yes. Giovanni has a yes vote already. Everyone else in attendance, go for a third session?
I would go. I would definitely go.
Okay.
I vote
Zach is a
yes.
yes. So looks that way. Darren is a yes. Here we go. Anybody else in chat want to throw it up there?
Yes.
All right. So I think we're scheduled. We just have to come up with the date. I know we got the show. Zach, Gia, thank you very much. Everyone so far is a yes.
Thank you. Thank
right.
you.
We just have to come up with a date. And I like the idea that both David and Josh have actually know the industry, are familiar with it. We've been down the road before with a totally person who had no idea what rental is. And the results aren't the same. You know, it's like you said, you got your personality of your business. Now you have people that can actually know the personality of various businesses and on the rental side, so they can speak the same language. It's a lot easier. So I appreciate David and Josh taking the time today and everyone for attending. We'll come out, watch for the announcement fairly soon. We'll come up with a date, probably a little bit after
It's
the
going to be a
ARE
little
show.
bit after, no?
Yeah, it'll be
after
after the ARE show. Because I know we got some stuff going on, so right after that, and we'll work out. I know we got some holidays and stuff coming up, but we'll miss those as well. All right, David, Josh, thank you
Sounds
very
good.
much. Thank you all for attending.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. We really
Thank you, everybody.
appreciate you. Look
Thank
forward
you.
to chatting with you next month.
Very good. Thank you very much. Take care now.
Goodbye.
Right.
Goodbye.
Thank you.